The 15-Point Plan is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network.
Welcome to another episode of the 15-Point Plan podcast. My name is Ryan Greigg, and as always, I'm here with my amazing co-host, Jacqueline Smith. As you hear right from the beginning, we are energized, we are laughing, we are having a good time, and really that's what the 15-Point Plan is all about. It's a way, it's a system. It's going to give you more energy. It is going to reduce your stress level, and like I just said, you're just going to laugh more. In fact, when you do that, right, Jacqueline, you get to check one of the points off the boxes.
You, in fact, do get to check one of the points, Ryan. And I'm excited. Hi, everyone. We're going to talk today about just like the 15-Point Plan because we haven't revisited this in a while. So what I want you to do is grab your beverage of choice, your coffee, your water, your tea, and let's just pretend like we're kicking back. We're in a cute coffee shop. You know, Ryan and I are there with you, and you ask us, what is this 15-Point Plan all about? And we're just going to talk through it.
That's right. We are going to jump into a recap on the 15-Point Plan. We've been doing this podcast for a few years now, Jacqueline, in combination with our previous hosts, Jolene and Chad. The podcast has been going for many years, but it's always good to do a refresh. We've had 3 amazing guests over the last few episodes, and with those guests often come new listeners, and with the new listeners often come just a nice recap on what the 15-Point Plan is today. So that is what exactly we're going to do. And the first one on that 15-Point Plan, the first thing, and it's a perfect time if it's at the end of the year, going into the new year, point number 1 is your goals. Looking at your goals, writing them down, looking at them often. Maybe you create a vision board. You create something that you can look at and see every day so that you know what your goals are and the steps to achieve them. Right, Jacqueline?
That is true. Let me pause this. We're going to pause the 15s because we're talking to someone here. Remember, we're having coffee and they don't even know what the 15-Point Plan is. So I just want to explain it first before we go into it. The 15 points are just 15 daily habits. They're simple things that you can do every single day. And what you do is we suggest that you would commit to tracking this for like a 30-day period. And all you're going to do is you're going to go to winmakegive.com/15-point plan. And you're going to see a tracker there. And it has a list of all the points, all the 15 points. And then there's a tracker. And at the end of every day, you're going to tally up how many of the 15 points you got. And then you're going to give yourself a score. You're going to score your happiness, your mood, your energy. And what you'll see over time is that there's a correlation directly between your daily habits and your happiness and energy score. Okay. So what we want to do, and Ryan, tell me if I miss anything or if you have any other thoughts, but what we're going to do today, what Ryan just started to do is go through what each of those 15 points are. And the one thing to keep in mind as we're doing this is you get to decide what they are for you. So this is a plan that can be customized because we're all different. We all are at different points in our journey. For example, movement might mean something different to me than it does to Ryan, and that's perfectly okay. So as we're going through these, we might give you a couple of ideas, but you ultimately decide how you get that, how you earn that point for the day. Okay? Did I miss anything, Ryan? Anything you would add?
No, I think you did a great job of recapping that. And as usual, I just jumped right in. I just dove right into this thing. But that is a great recap if you're brand new to this, or if you just need a reminder on exactly what the 15-Point Plan is and the reason why you do it. So go to winmakegive.com, download the PDF. We'll break it all down for you, and download the tracker, and just watch how you feel when you do all these things.
You're going to feel amazing. You're going to feel like you can fly. So goals, you covered that. The next one is?
Next one is movement.
Yep.
Movement. And like Jacqueline said, that can mean many different things to many different people. If you're starting at 0, you're not moving at all, that might just mean a walk around the block. It might mean just getting your heart rate going. It might mean breaking a sweat a little bit. If you're starting at 0, take a couple walks throughout the day, or even just a walk throughout the day. If you're doing that, maybe you start to go for a run. If you're doing that, maybe you add some weight training, but getting your body moving, getting your blood flowing, getting the endorphins going is the key in that movement category, right, Jacqueline?
Yeah, he really likes that category, everyone. So, okay, hydration. The next one is hydration, and I mean, you could just do like a simple like ask your ChatGPT or ask Google, the effects of hydration or dehydration on your cognitive ability, your mind, your focus, it's crazy. So the next one is hydration. It's just making sure that you're actually getting enough water, and so you can and that you're hydrated. So you can get all crazy with it and add like salt crystals and lemon and all the weird stuff that Ryan does, or you could just literally drink some water. And so we always recommend like keep it simple to start. It doesn't have to be complicated, but get your water in. Okay, what's next, Ryan?
That's right. Up next is sleep. And as I've studied over the last few years on this 15-point plan, this might be movement's probably my favorite, but sleep is probably the one that I really need the most. And we all need as a high level. Sleep is just one of the most important building blocks of great health, of recovery. So making sure that we're getting the appropriate sleep. Again, that's going to be different for everybody. But there's a lot of studies out there saying how important sleep is, how you can't actually catch up on sleep over the long term, and how it can really impact your overall health and wellness, right?
Absolutely. Okay. Nutrition is the next one. And so again, you get to decide what that means for you. There's people that have done, I'm going to do 30 days no sugar, or I'm going to do 30 days just tracking my food intake, or I'm going to do 30 days fill in the blank. It's your plan. It could be if you're like how I used to be, where I'd go all day without eating and I'd be hangry. Maybe it's just actually like eating a certain, every so often throughout the day. Like that is truly sometimes what people need to do before they even get all fancy with it.
100%. It's just simply eating, and then and you can refine that. You can take that to whatever levels that you want to take that to. But it's really just finding a plan and sticking to that plan. And then, in addition to the nutrition aspect, what you're eating, the next point is going to be supplements. What you're adding to your nutrition. What are the things that you're taking in addition to what you're eating? Lots of different supplements you can take. You can get very specific as a male and a female, and we've dove deeply on that supplement category. But that next point is supplements. What you're taking in addition to the foods that you're eating, right?
In addition, you just made me think of the episode we did with Shannon Cheplak, and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, like let's buy some groceries before we talk about supplements, right?
Yeah.
So influences is the next one. Influences is, being mindful of what you pay attention to, who you're hanging out with, what you're putting in your mind. So are you watching a bunch of things that put you in a bad headspace, like AKA the news? Movies? Are you hanging around with, crabs in the bucket or stinking thinking? Are you scrolling on social, and is that an uplifting place for you or not? Right. So influences. And the next one, Ryan.
Yeah, the next one is journaling. Just writing down what happened, writing it down in the morning, writing it down maybe at the end of the day, but simply putting your thoughts onto paper. There's many different forms of journals that we've covered, but I think spending just a couple of minutes, either morning, night, or both, writing down your thoughts, writing them down. So
Yeah.
journaling would be the next one. And then Jacqueline, I don't know, the next one might be my favorite. What's the next one?
Actually, that's true. It is. Like, I should let you talk about it. Do
Well, it's
it.
mindfulness.
Yeah.
It's mindfulness. And I think this is probably, I don't think, I know.
Look at all of them are your favorite.
I mean, I guess that's why we're hosts, because we really do believe in these things.
Yeah.
But I think the mindfulness category, making time for daily purposeful meditation or prayers to center yourself mentally and spiritually, I couldn't recommend that enough to anybody. If you're not doing mindfulness at all, just sit alone quietly for a minute or two. Just start with that, and you can work your way up as much as you want to. But mindfulness really will center you so that all these other things might come a bit easier.
Okay, this one is definitely top on my list. It is gratitude. And there is not a day go by that you shouldn't get this point. because it's so easy. It's just thinking of something that you're grateful for. Maybe you're writing it down. Now you just got 2 points, gratitude and journal. Maybe you're texting a friend, I'm so thankful for you, and now you're getting gratitude and service because you're giving someone a compliment. So gratitude, it's just, they say that you can't be grateful and angry at the same time. So practicing gratitude actually even has some benefits to your physical health.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. As soon as you get into that gratitude state, your brain starts to trigger all these
Yeah.
thoughts, all these beautiful thoughts, all of these endorphins. So it's a
Mhm.
quick way to change your mood. The next way to change your mood and the next point is laughter.
Mhm.
And there's so many different ways you can do that. But when we laugh, again, our brain thinks, oh, I'm happy. And it's a quick way to get out of that funk, quick way to break that cycle of negative thoughts. It's a quick way to boost yourself with some good energy and the people around you. So laughter is the next point. After that, what do we got, Jacqueline?
Well, after that, we have learn something. So making a goal every day to learn something new. This doesn't have to be like a huge thing. It could be just you're reading a book, learning about something, you're listening to podcasts, maybe you're learning about a hobby that you have or want to have, watching videos, taking courses, going to classes. Yeah.
Yeah, so many different ways you can learn. You can do it in bite-sized little minutes, or you can do it in longer chunks throughout the day. You can also do those learning things while you're doing the next point, which is hobbies. For
Mhm.
example, maybe you're out working in your garden and you've got a podcast playing. So hobbies is the next point. Finding something we can look forward to. This is like stepping away from work and just simply doing things that give us joy without any income or money involved. And then we got two more, Jacqueline. What's the next one?
I mean, it can cost you something for the hobby, what he means, but it doesn't,
Good point.
you're not making money at it,
That's
meaning
true.
like you can't count your work. If you love your work, that is so amazing, but it's not your
Hmm.
hobby.
Hmm.
Okay, serve is the next one. And this is, volunteering, donating, helping an organization, helping a friend in need. Do what you can to, just kind of get the focus off yourself and onto others. I think it's one of the best antidepressants. Um, if you're just kind of in a bummed out mood to do something for someone else. It can be so small. Like I said, it can be a compliment. It can be holding the door for someone. It can be paying for the person's coffee, next in line. It can be the big things like a big volunteer day or a donation at the food bank. But it can be little things too. I think sometimes we always think about those big things that we want to do, and then we end up doing nothing, right? And so if you may not be able to do it for the whole world, so don't just not do it. Like if you're like, I'm really kind of bummed out right now about this whole thing with like the food, stamps and the aid that people aren't getting. Well, yeah, that really does suck. And what can you do about it? Maybe you can't afford to, fund a whole classroom or a whole community, but you can actually donate probably $20. And what would happen if we all did that, And that's a small thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's so true. There's so many different ways that we can give back, and when we give back, we can check off that point of service, but we can also make a massive impact in our local community or in the world, for that matter.
Mhm.
And the last one, of course, is time, making sure that we are protecting our time. That's why this podcast is a short burst every week. We're not taking an hour of your time. We're giving you little valuable nuggets in 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes. We've got a guest, but really protecting our time. I think what we learned over the last couple of years, Jacqueline, is like learning how to say no to so
Mhm.
many things so that we can say yes to the things that really matter. But the protection of our time is an important aspect of the 15-point plan. We think, how can we do all 15 of these things? Well, if you're very purposeful with your time, you get to check a point and you can check all of these items a little bit more clearly. So again, that's a recap on the 15-point plan. You go to winmakegive.com. You can print this. I have this saved on my desktop on my computer, so I can just look at it. It pops up. I can see that. We've both done the tracking study multiple times. When you print this out as a PDF, on the back side of there, you'll get a 30-day tracker. And we challenge you, especially if it's the end of the year, going into the new year, and you want to reinforce these habits, reinforce this system, start tracking this. If you're getting a 2 or 3 today, high five. You're getting 2 or 3. If you're not doing any of these and tomorrow you get 1, high five. Just add 1 every maybe couple of days, every couple of weeks, and keep stacking those and just see what this will do for your energy and your overall well-being and how it will reduce your stress. And you're going to be listening to all these podcasts with us, and you might be our next guest, right, Jacqueline? Like, they might be our next guest that comes on this time next year, and they've run that marathon like Phil did. They're now a fitness coach like Shannon Cheplak. So our future guests are out there. They're going to hear this episode, and nice recap on the 15-point plan.
Yeah. And I don't think, no pressure. You don't have to become a marathon runner. That's not what this is. You don't have to become, a fitness coach. Really, I would say this is for the busy mom that doesn't think she has time to do this. This is for the dad that is like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. This is for just our average everyday person that, we all want to have more energy, feel happier, and less stressed out. And we have all of these systems that we do. We have them. If you're in business, you have all sorts of systems that you do for your business. You have a system for how you get your kids to school. You might not realize it, but you probably do much of the same routine every day. That's a system. So what you're doing is you're just working this in. And I just want to leave us with this. Like, don't listen to this and think, I'm going to start that in January. Because this is not a plan like, some of the 75 hard things like that. This is a plan that if you can use it for a burst, a boost, or a get out of a rut, or you can use this to stay out of a rut and to just live with this and be aware. It's all about awareness of how your habits are contributing to how you're feeling, instead of feeling all the time like we're just a victim to how we're feeling.
So true.
Yeah.
It's so true. Yeah. You can start anywhere with this. You can go get a glass of water and boom, you got a point. You can have a quick laugh while you're drinking that water. You got another point. So you really can start this anytime, anywhere, and share it with a friend. Take a friend along the journey. We've learned from our past episodes and from past conversations, having a friend go along this journey with you, it's going to make it more fun. You're more likely to do it, and watch both of your energy increase and what that does to change your life.
And if you share this with a friend, you just got your serve point. If you laughed at any of our jokes, you got a point there. You got your learning point because you learned about the 15-point plan. And then, like you said, grab your glass of water. Maybe you did it already. You've already got that one. Let's go. We're already like 4 points in.
That's right. As we said, check winmakegive.com. You can download the tracker, but also you can listen to all past episodes as well as the rest of our amazing podcast network. We drop these episodes every Tuesday on all major podcast platforms. So we appreciate you all listening. Share this with a friend, and we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.